Now recording.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Pretty neat little bot though.
Where does it save it?
Yeah.
On your hard drive?
Huh? No, it gives me a link, and then I'll save it
Oh,
on the hard drive, and then I'll put it on the site probably.
oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I just download it and upload it to the site somewhere. I've got the login working, but I don't really have much
I did
besides
log
like
into the
assigning
site
people
the
roles.
other day.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it to where GMs can set up games, and yeah, we'll talk about that. Hopefully more people show up. So Waffle, I think Waffle said he couldn't make it.
I think the only people, yeah, I mean, and besides Waffle, those are the only people that said they could make it, are the ones that are here.
Yeah, I don't know if tentative actually reminds you though, so I sent that to everyone just now. It's fine, I guess. As long as I have some. Hey, look, 2 people joined real quick.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Yeah, thanks for letting me sit in for the session today. I'll try to make a character sometime soon, though.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the whole point of this, right? Is like
Drop in and
for
have like
GMs
a
to
persistent world.
do something when they have time. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I just wanted to like commend you and like I guess the rest of the council. I mean, you guys are the only ones that can use the legendary crystal hearts. No, you guys have just put like a lot of effort.
I've done nothing.
Well, not Mac.
Yeah, I built the site in a weekend. It wasn't that much effort. I'm working on the login stuff. The main thing I got to do is the Foundry messing around. Hey, Waffle did join. How's it going? The main thing I really got to do is I want GMs to be able to set up through the website and set up a Foundry instance so they can play that way. So everybody has access to that and like a shared thing, which shouldn't be too hard because it's just copying files. I just got it.
There's a mod for Foundry. I don't know. I think it works for Savage Worlds where you can import stuff from PDFs and it kind of copies the stats and fills it out for you and makes compendiums. I don't know.
Oh, you can do as long as you do your stuff in stat blocks, you can import them. Yeah, so that's why the stat block thing is so important. Hey, Batu, how's it going?
Yeah, like what is Savaged, that character creator?
Yeah, that you can import that automatically.
You
Use
export
AD.
the .json.
Oh, you can actually just use the API key
Oh,
and
really?
import it. Yep,
Ah.
that's pretty
I
cool.
just do the JSON thing and load it up that way.
Yeah, JSON will work too. That's probably how I'll be doing it is JSON. And just storing it all. And what I think what I'm going to be doing, I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so I guess this is probably everybody. So how is everybody doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm so happy that so many people have like showed up to this. This is awesome. Like this is just a stupid little idea I came up with like months ago. Batu left. Oh, there he is. Oh, he changed his name. I see. Batu knows because he's from like my home gaming group, but I've been talking about this for months. And just a few weeks ago, I posted on Reddit, and yeah, people started joining the server. So I'm glad everybody's came and kind of giving me some fire under my ass to do some of this. So first off, like, has anybody been part of like a living world
No.
before?
Yeah, I have, or at least mostly. It's really similar to like West March's style campaign. Is what it's kind of felt like from your description. And then they used to do what was called Living Greyhawk for older editions of D&D back in the day, and I did some of that. So
Okay. Yeah, the only thing I've done is man, I'm getting all kinds of reminders for this thing. Anyway, yeah, the only thing I've done is a Shadowrun one. That's how I started playing, and I really like the idea. I just didn't like Shadowrun. So
For my part, I was I was on a Shadowrun mush for a very long time, but
Mush.
ends up functioning simply,
What is that?
just text-based.
Multi-user
So it's a
session.
shared hallucination, I believe that one is.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like a mud, right? The multi-user dungeon's all text and type north, go north, and
More or less.
yeah.
Um, just you'd have your GM staff who would run basically whatever adventure they felt like, and players would join them as they saw fit. It's just it was all text based rather than
that's pretty
all
cool.
the fun toys back then.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to do. So yeah, I've done the Shadowrun thing, and I really like the idea, and I think it would work really well with Savage Worlds because a um, a novice character can technically take out a legendary boss, and vice versa. So it's just yeah, I like the system, and I think it'll work, and I love Crystal Heart, but yeah, so scheduling, we pretty much got the time zone thing done. Yeah, so the first thing I really want to talk about, I guess, is this is probably you probably have the most opinion on this Black Beetle, but like characters, so the Shadowrun I was part of, and the ones I've seen, the other ones I've seen, usually is around like 3 characters per user. I personally like just having the one character, and then maybe like letting people try out a character for a session or two, but like I just feel like it'd be hard to keep
I
up
was
with
I was
more
thinking
than
about
one.
the number of characters today, and I think maybe 2. At least have one alternate in case you don't finish up a mission and you can't get back to it until 2 weeks later. You can still play with an alternate character in between, so your main character can be on pause on the mission that you can't get back to for a week or so, and then you can still pull up your other one and play here and there, just in case something happens and you don't finish a session.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all I had to say.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a really good point. But I also think it a lot of it is how I'm going to say intimate and how much of a deep dive into character backstories and backgrounds are we wanting to go. So, like in a super character driven game, right, where we're going to be like, oh, I want to pull from this backstory and this backstory. One character's maybe all you want because you're going to be really focused on developing those connections and those ties. But with this having the rotating GMs and you never know
Mm-hmm.
what groups you're going to be playing with, I do think maybe 2 characters might be good. Um, I do love one character, but only if we're going to be doing the deep dive into character backstories, which it doesn't sound like we're going to
I
as
mean,
much.
personally, I really like the deep dive into backstories, but yeah, I mean, it's just having an alt would be nice, and I don't think 2 characters would be too much to keep up with. The three actually, because you have like with 3, you can actually have 3 totally different characters. That's why I don't like 3. And for some reason, I didn't even think of 2, but like a main and a backup, because like you could have like your healer that you made, and then you could have like a tank or crystal. I
Yeah,
don't know,
not even
something.
not even just for a backup, just maybe like an almost complete opposite, just in case you end up on a mission where it's like, well, we don't have a healer. Okay, I can use my other character that's a healer, or
Right.
that's something close. So I think 2. I think 2 is it's not just one, but it's not juggling 3.
Yeah, and then you can have like your main and your alt, which I can do on the site too. So like you could like designate them as your main and your alt. Yeah, I definitely want to use the site for like managing a lot of stuff so we can keep stuff together. Um, yeah, Brandek's not here unfortunately. Yeah, so everybody cool with that? 2 characters, main and alt?
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
So are the characters related, and do you play them like at the same time? You take them on the same adventure, or you choose
Oh
which
no,
character
no,
you
no.
want to play?
you definitely choose.
Okay.
Like you couldn't
I
pick
was
a
just wondering if like one of them would act like. So what are the thoughts instead of? I guess
That's
What
a
about
good point, though.
hirelings? What about like little extras that follow us around? Like I know that's not super related, but when it comes to like playing multiple characters or having control of them.
I was going to ask
Um,
about pets and companions as well, sort of related.
I haven't seen that in the Crystal Heart. Is that part
It's
of
part of
Crystal Heart at all?
Savage Worlds in
Yeah, it's just
general.
Savage Worlds.
Yeah, so Savage Worlds as like a game system, right? Originally grew out of a war game back in times long past.
Yeah,
And so it does have a lot of rules for our characters are wild cards, like the main characters of the story, right? But then you have extras, and those extras could very easily be, oh, I lead in a different game, like I lead a troop of soldiers into battle. I have 4 extras I kind of control. Um, I will say, just from my experience as someone who has like a decent amount of experience with the game, early on it can really bog you down, and it can really slow up rate of play, which it can be rough until you get a little bit more experience, both as a DM and as a player, right? Um, I know that there are edges in the game that exist, like Beast Bond and Beastmaster, right? That would let you get animal companions. And like I have optional rules that I've used before for like human companions, like if you wanted to have just someone that works with you like a partner. But I think we're wanting to keep it pretty bare bones at first,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Hypno?
Yeah.
Yeah. My honest opinion, like again, I have no weight on this. I'm not on any kind of council or anything, but my honest opinion for it is let's get a few games under our belt. And then if it comes up organically during play, let's start maybe we can bring in like, oh yeah, we have a hireling that comes with us or that kind of thing, right?
Okay.
The beast, if for those of you that wanted like an animal type companion, that's already kind of covered in the core rules of the game. In Savage Worlds, like the lead rules, you can take the Beast Bond and Beastmaster weird edges, and they give you that animal companion type, right?
I think Crystal
Alright.
Heart puts that out.
Oh,
Or do that? Does it? I think it's still in there. I'd have to double check though.
Yeah,
It might cut it out. I don't
I'm looking.
know. Because the
But yeah,
assumption.
I wouldn't be against it.
Sure.
But I would, I'd recommend it for more like experienced players. Like what is it? Veteran after seasoned, somewhere around there.
So according to, and just because I pulled it up really quick, I had the book open. There are some edges that are not used from the core book that just aren't used in Crystal Heart,
Right.
but the Beast Master and Beast Bond edges are.
Okay. Cool.
Most of the ones that aren't used are the ones related to like using powers, because
Right.
powers are very specific things in this. So
What is the suede rule on that? Like, what's the requirements? I'm looking it up now.
for like Beastmaster and
Yeah.
let
So they're
me grab
weird.
my copy. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're considered weird edges.
They
like I
would
said,
be edges that you would take like when you move up a level, right? Like when you go, you could.
Yeah. I'm curious what the requirements are for it.
yeah, well, and you could actually, I think you can take actually Beast Bond at novice level. But I'd have to again, I'm double checking.
Yeah. I think I would
Let me
feel
check.
better if because that would I definitely don't want a novice, but
Yeah, so the
novice.
yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Oh no, it's good. So what happens is the Beast Master Edge. You have an animal companion that's size 0 or smaller. And then you can spend I think you can spend like these sort of advances, sort of. They're not really advances to like, oh, I'll increase the trade of this or make it a wild card or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on page 51 of the Suede book. But if you want to leave those out, not an issue at all. I do know there are some hearts that also, some crystal hearts that give you a companion
Oh,
or the
really?
ability to create one.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
that. I haven't gone through all the
Traveler.
crystals.
No, you're good. Yeah, Traveler lets you actually pull someone to come and just kind of walk with you and travel with you and fight with you.
That's
And
cool.
a few of them let you create like golem type creatures to fight with you. But anyway,
I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen the golem one. Yeah, let's say I think I want to boost that up though. I'm cool with Beaster, but I want to boost it up Do you think veterans too high, or you think seasoned would be good?
I think veteran is too high. You also kind of have to have the um. Yeah, season's okay. I think.
I got a
Okay.
So
I would even
go,
say beast. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I would even say leave Beastbond novice, because Beastmaster is really the so Beastbond is what is it
Beast
again?
Beastbond lets you
Novice.
pin
Some individuals
pennies.
have extraordinary bond with their animal companions. These characters may spend their own bennies for any animals under their control, including pets, mounts, familiars, and so on.
Yeah, like that's good, but
Yeah.
it's pretty lowly, I think. Like where Beastmaster probably should be at least seasoned, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're looking to boost that.
That's
I would
good. That's a
say,
good point.
yeah, I would say that's good because like you might have a character who has like a pet is kind of integral to their like it's the character I want to be. It's a pretty common
Yeah.
archetype,
Yeah.
right? And Beastbond can kind of represent that. Whenever you have Beastmaster, there's sort of almost an insurance that comes along with it, and it actually has that insurance built in. Like your animal comes back within 1d4 days, or you get a replacement within 1d4 days, et cetera, et cetera. So
The only thing I would mention about any of that is that, like, when you're creating a character, you only get X amount of, excuse me, edges or whatever, right? Edges and hindrances.
Right.
And when you do that, you're possibly on taking one because Crystal Heart, the game, has some particular edges as well, right? That are not the Savage Worlds one. So, like, you might be overthinking it a little bit at the novice level when you're creating your character.
Yeah.
But that, again, whatever, teach their own, right?
But I mean, if
But
you read
that's
the Beastbond one, like that's I can reason I'm cool with that being novice is like the way it reads is like that's just somebody who wants to. It's more of to me it seems more like an RP edge than anything else. Like yeah, you can spend your bennies, but mostly it's an RP
Well,
edge.
yeah, I mean, if we're concerned over Beastbond, then we should be concerned over Common Bond,
What's
which
common
is
bond?
this. It's the same thing, but for everybody, like anyone you can communicate with.
just a way to hump your roll. Like it moves you up. It gives you a little bit of a bonus to your rolling.
Yeah.
I mean, I just to weigh in like entirely on my opinion
Yeah.
and take it for what it is. I don't have an issue with Beastmaster being what it is as it is, like it's a novice level thing. But that is just my thing. I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's breaking anything. My only concern is ever going to be, hey, new players, if you're new to the game, you need to focus on learning how to run one character before you're also controlling the actions of a pet at the same time.
Yeah.
That is my only ever concern with it. That being said, I don't think it's a broken edge. I think if we look at what arcane backgrounds can do, if you look at what you can do with things like, well, someone brought up like command or like the different things like command presence, the entire leadership line also does a lot of the
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
Beastmaster does, only better.
Yeah.
So I don't
think
think
I
it's
agree.
broken inherently.
I think it's very, very, very difficult to break Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
Like I mean, people successfully run Rifts games, I guess. So,
I mean, I would argue you can break rifts over your knee, but that's the point, right? So
I know.
I don't play rifts for like a balanced thing. I play it because it's going to be exciting and crazy. So
Yeah, like, but that's just kind of the point. Like, it doesn't matter the
right.
fine-tuned edges.
And
So
I will also point out, as far as like balance goes, the beast that you get with Beastmaster is an extra until heroic level. Once you hit heroic level, it becomes a wild card. But as an extra, it only has one toughness level and it's taken out of the fight. So
that's in the rules now.
yeah,
Like,
that's as it is. It's considered an
okay.
extra until you hit heroic level.
Okay, so that's good.
Should we
Yeah,
talk also
I,
about the
I'm
other
cool with that.
weird- Sorry,
But you were breaking up.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we talk about the other weird edges too? Because some of those may not really make sense with the setting.
I
Let's see.
will throw
let me
out
check this
that a lot of those are already banned in the setting rules.
Are they? I didn't
Yeah,
see
on
that.
page, I can give you the page. It's on page 16.
I actually
Crystal Hearts?
If you go to Agents of Syn character, I actually list them all out. So
Oh yeah,
I got it now.
right. Yeah, a nice chunk of those are just outright bans. The power edges and then things like Key, Champion, Arcane Resistance.
yeah, so modified edges, aristocrat, command, connections, trademark weapon, unused edges, all power edges, arcane resistance, champion, chi, linguist, and rich.
Oh,
All
you
right.
said
I think that's fine then. Champion Chi were the ones that were really weird to me
Yeah.
for the setting.
Yeah. And you know, with the hindrances, where'd that go? Let me go back. And the hindrances, modified enemy obligation, one arm, outsider, slow and wanted, unused, doubting Thomas, greedy, illiterate, and poverty. Because you don't have money. So
Right. Which of the weird edges?
They've already covered that.
Were there some other weird edges that you were kind of iffy on?
Yeah, I think all the other ones you could make an argument for. They sometimes get fiddly in play. Like I know Scavenger can break these sessions occasionally, but I'm not especially worried about the other ones.
It depends on the GM, you know. I mean,
Everything, yeah.
You got to have luck with that too, which I think a lot of people grab anyway. But I mean, I'm pretty cool with that. Liquid courage. Yeah, I think I'm cool with those. Or danger sense. What else we got? Yeah, I'm fine with those. I think. So okay, so out of that, Beast Spawn kept it novice, Beastmaster bump up to seasoned, and pretty much everything else is covered by Crystal Heart. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Next one. The important one. Advancements. Yeah, so I posted some of my math there with the advancements. Basically, you know, I want people to be able to play their characters for a long time. And I just played around with some numbers to figure out how to do that. 64 sessions to max out a character is a lot of sessions. I mean, that's, you know, 2 to 3 hours minimum per session. Changing it down. Right now I have it set out numbers
1, 3, 5, and 7.
Yeah, 1, 3, 5, and 7. If you bump it down to 1, 2, 3, 5, it's 24 to heroic, 39 to max, 44 to legendary, which legendary is unplayable, but you know, like I don't know if everybody got that, but like the whole idea around like retiring your character is that's like a achievement that you can reach, and your character will become part of the world. Whereas like if you're just like a season and you're like, I don't want to play this guy anymore, that's it. I mean, you could just stop playing him and roll a new character. But who'd we lose? But yeah, the retirement thing is more of like an achievement. So I don't know. What do y'all think?
Never played Savage World, so I don't.
think
So go ahead.
I think something like character retirement is interesting kind of thematically. Like you see it in a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games and what now Forged in the Dark with Blades in the Dark. Like retirement, like your character's existence is like finite as in like in the rules. Like you can only take so many advancements before the last thing you can check is retire my character to be or something. So if that's kind of the feel you're interested in, I think it's interesting. I think like just having it always be an option, or maybe based on how much requisition the agent was able to get, like a crew. Uh, yeah, that like it's kind of hard to make suggestions without being like a little presumptuous about how you guys like want to run the world and factions, and I don't know. But I like the idea of having like character retirement being sort of like a goal to shoot
Yeah,
for.
my concern was more around like how I don't want people to advance too slow, but I also don't want them to advance too quick either. That's more my issue. 24 to heroic, is that a lot? Does that feels like a lot to me?
24. It's 24 sessions, right? Until heroic.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see here. Well, let me hold on. And once we
And it's
hit
39
heroic,
to max,
once
44
we
to legendary.
once we hit heroic, I know we get like you can still get your 3 advances, but you never hit legendary, right? Will we keep just getting advances if we decide not to retire?
No,
Or are
no,
they
I definitely want to cap it at like the 4. I
sure?
think it's like 4 advancements at heroic, and then if you want to keep playing your character, you can. But
Right.
like, yeah, you don't get any more
Sure.
advancements from there. You can keep getting requisition, you can get better gear, whatever
Right.
comes with the play. But yeah, just with the rule set, like there's only 5 legendary in the whole world, so yeah.
So, and I think someone mentioned just to kind of toss out, they mentioned they were new to Savage World, so they weren't sure what we meant by like rank and advancement, right?
Yeah,
Did someone mention that?
I mean, I kind of get you get 3 advances, you're a novice,
Mhm.
and then the more advances you get, but I don't. Is I'm a little
So
confused how Yeah, good.
in Savage World, you start as a novice,
Hmm.
and I think it's like 4 advancements per rank. I think one of them's different, but it's like 4 advancements per rank, and then you go to the next rank. So it's novice, seasoned, veteran, heroic, and then
Hmm.
legendary. And the most things that you get from that is like it unlocks different edges, it unlocks sometimes different gear. In Crystal Heart, it's definitely going to really affect your crystal power as well. Like crystals, it's kind of why I'm okay with the heroic taking a long time, because in Crystal Heart, heroic crystals are really fucking powerful, and like yeah, having one of those on the field is a lot. So yeah,
So
So
in the
your chart on the about page there has
hmm
required missions to gain an advance. So is it if
hmm
you're novice and you do one mission, you get 1 advance, and then you still
right
have to get 3 to the
for the
season.
season.
Okay.
so yeah, so
That
go ahead.
that's a little confusing, but the chart there is. But yeah, I got it now.
Yeah, so like the most basic thing to kind of keep in mind, every time you get an advance, it is like a little tiny power spike, right?
Hmm.
Like you might get a new edge, or you might raise a stat, or pick up a new
Yeah,
skill. Right? And then eventually those kind of are the gate you have to pass through to be able to get to the next higher level stuff, which is going to be seasoned. It doesn't use an experience point system, which I think is an interesting turn away from a lot of other traditional RPGs.
yeah,
But once you get used to it, like it's not super counterintuitive. It's just something you got to get used to, right?
yeah. No, I was just looking at the chart on the about page, and it kind of confused me because it kind of reads like, okay, you do 1 mission, you're a novice. You do 3 missions, you're seasoned. You do 5 missions, you're a
Yeah.
veteran.
Yeah,
I think
sorry about that. I had assumption that people reading it knew Savage Worlds. But
So
I
basically,
yeah,
as
it
soon
make
as you
it makes sense
it's my
now.
fault.
yeah, as
Yeah,
soon as you finish your 4th mission, you're considered a seasoned character at that point,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's your first advance into seasoned rank. So
yeah.
that'll
And
be
then for season, it'll be 12 missions to make the veteran.
think it's easiest to just kind of think of the ranks as gates, because they lock your character's advancement out of like certain powerful edges.
good.
Yeah, and in
Like
this setting,
you'll
the
see that
crystals.
Certain crystals,
say
yeah.
again
And in this
in
setting, the
crystals. Yeah.
crystals are the big
Yeah,
thing. Is kind of
Yeah.
why I want to keep it slower too.
So whenever you're
Because
looking through the edges or the crystals, you'll see that there's like a rank requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though interestingly, in Crystal Heart, you can take a crystal that is 1 rank higher, but you have a
mhm,
penalty when using it. So,
yeah.
uh,
So are we good with the 1, 2, 3, 5 or the 1, 3, 5, 7?
I mean, I, I think 1, 2, 3, 5 might be better
Yeah,
personally. 1, 2, 3, 5, I think might be a little bit more interesting.
I
I don't
think so
know though.
too.
What anyone else have a strong opinion?
so at 1, 2, 3, 5, we do 4 missions, 8 missions, 12 missions, and then 20 missions. That's a lot of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24 to make heroic. Which, hey, Wolf Power.
So
Wolf and adopt me forever.
I think
It's a
1,
lot of
2, 3, 5.
Yeah, it's a lot of missions, but you got to keep in mind again. Once you hit that heroic level, like once you get into veteran or in heroic, you are a pretty strong force,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like in the world. Like you're if you look at some of the crystals for that level, like you're reshaping minds and you're duplicating yourself.
Then
and
maybe
doing all
1,
kinds of
3,
weird
5,
stuff.
7 would be
So
better.
I think I think the 1, 2, 3, 5 is personally, but I don't know
Yeah,
squads.
and I can go with
So,
that. And if it ends up being broken, and we can always change it later.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to make it a veteran real soon, but once we
Yeah,
get a
exactly.
couple people that's seasoned, we can revisit it. And
right, and we'll get seasoned pretty quickly.
So
So
we can just
Yeah.
talk about character advancement within the context of like the Crystal Heart setting. Like novice agents, um, novice, not to Savage Worlds rank novice, novice agents, they do like 2 tours or something that lasts like 1 to 2 years for them. And this is where I guess the bulk of our play will be. So, do you foresee like characters advancing into like free agents and specialists, and the third one, subduer?
The retirement, I consider like the free agent. Yeah.
I think we have to talk about because we are not going to have stable teams, right?
Yeah.
Which is how the initial lore is set up. So we have to think about, I mean, either we decide that we just gloss over that fact and don't care, or we need some kind of lore explanation for why Syn is doing things differently with their novice agents now.
Well, it's
Yeah,
sort of
we
easy.
can definitely do that.
Sorry, it's sort of easy to
No.
explain with Syn's like sort of structure. They have all these like missions, and they have lanes that are flying constantly, like in this like network, such that like each way station, like some are hidden, some are like covert ops, some are just out in the open. But they have like a mission. They have like visits. Like they use their planes to communicate with their way stations. And honestly, I can see that being useful for us if we just lean more on the idea of like the way stations being where we pick up new troops or something. Like whatever DM's running a story, like maybe one of the agents that played 1 week has to step out, so they just they're called in at one of the way stations, and we pick another one up at like the same way station or
Yeah.
something.
well, so I mean, we can we can like they were kind of saying though, we can twist that lore a little bit, right? Like it's our version of Crystal Heart. So we've already twisted a little bit with the novice crystals, little duplicate. You mentioned the planes. Syn has, I think, 3 planes total. And so yeah, we could increase the number of planes they have. We could say they have a new crystal that's on lock that does like very limited point-to-point teleportation if you wanted to. We could, I don't know. Anyone have any other ideas?
So I'm not trying to drag us down the road of trying to build the entire world right now. The point I'm trying to make is that just because of the constraints that we have with how we're set up, we're already breaking the assumed campaign
Right.
format.
Well, I think
So-
once we get a couple games in, people will fall into groups with time zones and who they get along with and who they had fun with and who's available for certain days and whatnot. And I think it might just work itself out where people end up in the same group for most of the time, most of the games. I don't think there'll be as much bouncing around as I don't think there will be as much bouncing around.
Yeah, we'll
like-
eventually like get to know each other, and we'll have little cliques and stuff like that, and hopefully we can grow some more too. But yeah, so reading about the advanced duties, it says veteran and heroic agents are assigned 1 to 3 roles. I think we can just explain that by just making that when you retire, that's what you get and just heroic only. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, so then would it be the case like our characters could? This might be actual incentive for retirement, like or not retirement, but like sort of ascending, getting promoted or something. But like, could our characters become NPCs? That like
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
If you read a character, I want him to be they go out and fight if he makes it to retirement. Like I want him to go down to Zingama and like rule it. Like I want him to turn bad. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. But the thing is like yeah. So just reading the lore, just backing it up. So advanced duties are veteran heroic. I was thinking people could do the retirement at heroic, like the first level, like the second level of heroic, I think is what it was. So like you make heroic and then you advance one time into heroic and then you can retire your character to be an NPC. And
Okay, cool. I have to go though. I'm sorry. I'll try to
okay.
hop in later if you guys are still on.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate your input, man. It's been good.
Bye.
I think for our purposes, like really those advanced duties don't really matter,
Right,
because GMs are going to come up with the missions that they come up with, and whether you're nominally just a crystal hunter or a free agent or a specialist or whatever, if you want to jump in on that mission, you're going to jump in on that mission.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's fair too. Yeah, we can work that out too when people get there. Okay, so 135, and we're cool with the retirement. Tracking, so what I was thinking with tracking was I don't know how this is going to play with people who play on like the intro, but I was thinking just like having a system where a GM can go in and mark that these characters played or these characters played this game, and it would give them it would track how many games they played. Um, Basically just to start with, and then eventually maybe the whole character sheet could be on the site. And I definitely want to have like by doing that, it would be easy for me to generate a rank system that we can publish of players. But like, is there anything that like if I did that that people wouldn't want published about their characters? Like maybe just keep it the basics, like uh, Garad, and he has the crystal wolf's bloom, and his rank is X Y. Am I making sense?
Yeah. It's rank, maybe how many crystals that player has
That's cool
found.
too. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can literally track everything and anything.
I think it'd be interesting if we had like a standard dossier form that anyone could pull up from the Syn data
Oh, that would be
files,
good.
and we just fill out what's on that. And so it would be things like character, like height, weight, of maybe an image of them that you're using,
Mhm.
and then like what crystal they're known to keep, and then just like maybe a few bullet point about them. But like a dossier form that would have all that information on it. Thoughts?
I love staff directories.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's we work for an organization, right?
Right.
That's not too different from any other. So I would love to have we have an employee of the month thing that gets sent out and accompanying newsletter.
Not be,
Hey.
but like definitely be down for it. Okay, so I'll do the tracking thing, and yeah. So if people play outside the game, the GM will come in and just like say these players played in this game, and kind of just do a report, like a quick AAR on the game, and yeah, just as much as they want. And mostly it's to track like how many games people play, but most of the actual tracking is going to be on the player. So yeah.
Would it be worth a reputation system, maybe? I don't know
In
that
what sense?
Suede has. I know Suede has a. They're not Suede. The Crystal Heart Sin has a honor system, code of honor thing. That's where it's at in there. But I know they have certain things that you're supposed to abide by, and maybe you have a 1 through 5 setting your 1 through 5 rating on your character. That if you don't follow one of those rules, or you go. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, I'll write that down.
Maybe it's just
Uh,
1, 2, 3, and 2 you're following it. 3 you're following it to the letter. Maybe 1 you did some violence that wasn't really called for. Oh man, it is storming here. So I don't know.
where
Just a
you
thought.
at?
North Georgia.
Yeah, I'm in South Carolina. It's kind of nasty.
It might be heading your way after
Yeah.
in here. Maybe that idea just gets washed away, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
I
writing
think
down.
I think that's
Sorry.
not a bad idea though. Like,
Yeah.
especially because the consequences of your actions are kind of an important and a good in an RPG for the most part, right? But with us having rotating DMs, the war crimes my character commits may not be communicated to my next DM. So
Yeah,
for that.
have a little. Maybe it's not 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's just plus, minus, or neutral, and
Well,
they keep up the code of honor. They
Well,
don't
that
quite
is
follow it.
something. That is one of the things I do want to do once I get some of the basic stuff out of the way. Is I want people to be able to fill out like a form when they make their character, so that like GMs will know, allow people to have things like off limit topics and things like that. Just kind of like so a GM can know like what kind of player that they are is in their game, so they know like how to make it. Because the GM's job is to make the game fun for the player, and the more
Yeah,
you know, the you can make them. But no, that's kind of down the road a little bit. But I think that maybe that would play into that too. But yeah, I definitely wrote it down. Okay. So the next one. Um, Sorry if that's loud. I know typing can be loud. The next one is map making and game prep. Yeah, I think we've already covered that kind of like with the council. Or actually, the next one was council. We already covered that, and then map making and game prep. We've already kind of covered that within chat. Um, the needed things that people need, like yeah, I guess this kind of gets into the outside session stuff, and also like I guess we kind of these we've talked about in some way or another. So like the needed things that we need for the server, if there's anything people need or think we should have to like help better run things, that would be cool. Or does anybody have any ideas there?
is there like a standard for the maps, or is it just whatever maps you've got you can make? You can.
Yeah, you can just make whatever.
Okay.
We could
At least I
definitely
don't
do.
know if we can drop some. And
Yeah.
then I don't know if there's any artists among us, but a a token or tile for the planes and the tank would be nice to have. That way, we can share it, and we all have the same tank or
Yeah. Uh,
special, but
I did a scene. Batu was playing a Scarillion in 50 Fathoms, and I did a scene like I even like photoshopped like little crabs in like a crate and shit. And yeah, that took way too much time. But yeah, there'd definitely be like when we make maps and stuff, there would definitely be like shared assets. And I was thinking of maybe like letting people have like their own folder too that they can share. Like you just other, you could have like your own folder of stuff. Through Foundry, you can actually like delete files. So yeah, you wouldn't have people deleting stuff, but you could potentially upload to somebody else's folder. But that's fine, I think. Yeah, I do like the compendium idea though. That's a really good idea. We should definitely do that. And I'll figure out how that will work. I could probably do that on the website too, and then just have that uploaded to Foundry. Because everything exists on the server.
People's move through and things happen in the world. Maybe things change. I don't know.
like a calendar as far as future stuff or events that have happened.
I'm thinking, as we run sessions and things happen with the world, just kind of keeping some history of all that stuff.
Yeah, I like that. So like a timeline.
Oh, that'd be nice. And you could incorporate those. One GM could incorporate events from another GM session into theirs if they've discovered the world somehow or destroyed something or caused some craziness to grow. Another
that
team
definitely
could go
is.
and revisit it. That'd be good.
Yeah, that definitely is something that I want to do with the living world, and that I think I can provide with like my engineering skills. And like the whole fact that like if you go out and like find a crystal, one GM finds a crystal, like somebody in another session can requisition that crystal. I think would be really cool, and something I really want to do, and have like a list of like found crystals and stuff like that. And yeah, I actually didn't look at that in the lore. I know he's got a list of crystals, but are those all already found or ones you can potentially find?
It's a good question. I think the novice crystals are all found, but there's a section back there that's like got the manifestations for all of the crystals in the book when they're feral. So maybe they're not intended to necessarily all be found from the get-go. I guess that's a decision we can make, though.
Yeah. Yeah, right at the top of the more crystals. Turn back GMs is not this. If you're not a GM, turn back now. Where's the novice? Is there another list? Okay, there's the other list. There's 2 lists of crystals. Okay. Okay, I get it now. Yeah. So there's one's up in like page 74 is where it ends, and then down on page 196, I think, is the ones that you can find. Yeah. Because making crystals is freaking hard. Like, it's just hard.
I guess balancing them is pretty hard.
Yeah. And just like not making them too overpowered stuff.
I think we do have maybe at least it's the age doesn't deserve it because it's too powerful.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Although that's potentially a touchy subject.
Yeah, I figure we can do that when we get there.
That might just depend on how that player uses that overpowered crystal.
Mhm.
I mean, if they follow the code of Syn, it might not be an issue.
Though to be fair, depending on how you want to interpret it, is Syn a good organization or a bad organization? Are we
Yeah,
the baddies?
we
Right.
might be the baddies.
We could be the
We don't know.
baddies. Yeah.
We don't know.
Hey, somebody's got to be the baddies. It may as well be us.
Right. Exactly. Thank you.
We're the Empire.
But if you do starter mission, it's almost like there might be a group of retired agents that are not really bad, but against Syn.
Yeah, I mean, well, he was a free agent, so
Yeah.
um,
They really
that's kind
present
of what
this- Go ahead. Sorry.
well, that's kind of what I meant about like when you retire, like you become a free agent and stuff, and that's kind of why I want to reserve that for retirement and making your character NPC because now you can go kind of do. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, I really like. It is a really interesting setting that presents those moral quandaries, though.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, it even talks about like if you come across a village that has been used hundreds of years and their existence and livelihood requires that crystal to stay in place. Well, Syn doctrine says we have to retrieve all crystals and bring them back. What do we do?
Yep.
No,
Yep.
I thought I'd actually leave it there if like a village requires or uses it. Maybe I
Well,
misread that.
this is actually from page 46. Like that example is exactly from page 46 of the moral quandary you could run into. So I would have to check it.
So
But yeah.
do they do it by chapters or seasons? But that's what one of the chapters of the comics is about. I think it's chapter 2
Is
where
that the
the heart
one?
is.
Yeah, it's in the house, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think I
Yep.
read that one.
Yeah. So that one is all about that whole topic, and yeah, it's kind of up to the players really.
Okay, so moral ambiguity, awesome. Where are the skulls? Do we just stick with the list of starter crystals that are in the book until we start discovering them through play, or I don't know?
Yeah, I think people can just start making them. Like, if you want to make a crystal, go ahead and start submitting it. Like, one dude, or I don't know if it's a dude, but Gramian did the mass driver, and I think that one's good. I haven't read his final copy or their final copy, but yeah, like Aaron will actually get really into that. So if you ping him on that, like he'll go. There's like 50 messages from him and Aaron. So, which Aaron is the guy who made the whole thing. So.
So then, is it people can use the crystals from the book or make their own for character creation?
Yeah, but you definitely let
Sure,
get the
for sure,
crystal
for sure.
approved. Yeah, same thing with like your character, but yeah, getting a crystal approved is going to be a lot harder than approving a character because if you go through that chat with those two, like Aaron talks about, he's been doing this obviously for a while. He talks about all kinds of stuff that like can break crystals, and it's a good conversation to kind of read through if you're interested in like crystal design because there's a lot that goes into it because like that's the whole thing of the game is those crystals and like the heroic crystals and stuff like that can really break things, especially I think. So but yeah, if you want to make your own novice crystal, yeah, go submit one, because I actually can't. So he did say that if you have the book, so he did say that I can't publish like the novice crystals on the site. So like I can't, anybody who doesn't have the book can't kind of use them. I mean, unless they talk to somebody and ask for them. But he did say that if I made like a character creator, that like as long as I left the crystal at the end, then I could include them. So,
And for, I mean, I I own the thing in Fantasy Grounds, but
Mhm.
it's all there in Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah,
All
I'd say as long as you have that, like, I mean,
right. So I put
yeah,
them
I mean, it's more I can't publish it on the website more
right,
or
and I
less,
wasn't
but
planning
yeah,
on
people can.
publishing it in Discord.
Yeah.
God, push to talk on the phone. This is MacD using my daughter's using the computer. So, but anyway,
Oh, okay, I see.
yeah. So, but we can make the characters and drop them in. They export fine from Savaged. So, um,
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I just can't publish it. But yeah, the ones from the book, and then whatever we create, I'll have a list of the ones that we create on the website. So once like we get like a picture for grammelians, I'll post that on the website with like the description and stuff like that, and I'll redesign the website so that it's more for like keeping track of play and stuff. I'm still working on it, but I just threw all that together. Um,
So I got a quick question. That's a little.
Mhm.
Is every mission supposed to end in finding a crystal or no?
No.
Okay.
No,
That works.
especially for this session, or especially for like the living world. That's going to be a big one.
We have way too many crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd run out of crystals really fast. I mean, one person making it to heroic would burn through every single like crystal that you could find that's already published. Yeah, definitely not
Yeah.
that. Like, there's shards, there's all kinds of different things.
If you
That
go
people
back,
find.
like investigating a series of murders that are happening in
Hmm.
a Fjordstad city, I think. So, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can go to that won't end with you getting a crystal. So,
Nah,
I guess that's a good thing to talk about is like GMs that do that every time. Like, should there be any rules around that? Like how often a GM can run, or how often it could be found within the world, or like any way to like say Waffle, goes out there and every one of his missions finds a crystal, whereas like mine never do, right? Like how would we want to handle that? I guess.
I think this would be a really cool area. We were joking around a little bit about having the dossier, right, situation,
Hmm.
but having like a database of found crystals on the website, I think would help that a lot. Because if you do
Yeah.
end in that situation, have one DM that's like, "Oh yeah, we find crystals constantly," another one's like, "Oh no, I'm much more focused on like political intrigue kind of stuff."
Hmm.
Um, People can still tap into again the resources of the organization. I think that comes down to something where I think if you're wanting to have a mission where there's going to be a new crystal found, you should probably give a heads up to the council
Yep.
and just petition like, "Hey, here's sort of what we're going to looking at. They could come across this crystal and or this crystal during the course of this mission, but we don't know yet how it will end up." That way, you don't have people constantly finding the same. Like everyone's not constantly finding claw, for example, as a veteran
Oh yeah,
crystal.
that I'm
There's only
definitely
one.
gonna do. I'm gonna keep a log of like what crystals we find. Yeah, that's the 100%.
But
um,
But yeah, I like the heads
yeah.
up.
maybe we make a roll table, and then as you're planning your session, you go to the website and roll and see if there's a crystal available for you to offer up during your game,
Well, I think the
and
issue
we
with
can track
that
it that way.
I think the issue with that is if you have a certain story you're wanting to tell,
Yeah.
like a
Mhm.
feral crystal can influence the way the mission goes. It's like if you're really wanting to tell a story that's like, oh, I really want to deal with like a flying beast or something like that, you might have a feral crystal that grants some kind of flight power that's influencing them. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? So I don't know if having the random roll would be good because I just think having a good conversation would do sort of the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Just have GMs give a heads up to the council that they want to go find a crystal and um that what they're yeah, I like that. I think that'll fix the problem. Yeah, so I'm excited. I don't know about y'all.
Ready.
I'm ready to start playing. I'll probably make a encounter for sometime this week. Once people gotta start getting characters in. We only got 3 characters so far. Me, Batu, or not Batu, Black Beetle and Mac. So yeah, people need to start getting characters in, and we can start running missions. If any GMs want to run missions, feel free. To do that, right now, I can just if you make the event and give me a heads up, I will hook you up with a Foundry instance. I have 3 instances I can run at any given time. Or you can do it on your own stuff and just kind of report. Yeah, we have the GM lounge, which I think all of the council has access to. GM General. Yeah, just kind of give a heads up if you're going to run the crystals, and I'll document that somewhere. And I will make sure that you have an instance if you don't have your own like Foundry or whatever else you want to run it on. But yeah, to make an event, you just go to and if you're a GM, you should have access and just type event, and Apollo will send you a DM, and you just do stuff from there.
Does Apollo have like a format of time, day, and all that in
Yep.
it?
When you
Okay.
go through it, it'll ask you. So if you do, I suggest doing full hours because Apollo will. It's kind of wonky. Like I was doing like half hours and like 2.5, 3.5
Mhm.
hours and stuff like that. Just round it up or down because it will bug out sometimes if you do that. But other than that,
Okay.
like it's a pretty easy format. You just say Friday at 6 p.m. and then it will ask you like how long, and you just say 2 hours. And you definitely want to. The big thing is you ping the right uh, time zones that you think. Don't ping too many time zones, but you want to ping the right time zones
Mhm.
for the mission. That's what the whole time zone thing is about. So people can get pinged for when people post missions. And you definitely want to ping that. So you get people's.
Right.
Yeah, so you're Eastern. So like if you run something in the middle of the day, you could probably do like GMT and Eastern, but I wouldn't do like PST. But if you do something like 8 o'clock at night, Eastern and PST would probably be good.
Yeah. That makes
So,
sense.
I'm
but
excited for
also,
this.
yeah, me too. I want to play. I've never played Savage Worlds. Like, I want to play a game. Like, I've just never played. But yeah, I'm stoked everybody's here. I hope people like spread the word, and I hope this like is successful. And I'll get working on some of the tools that I'm promising, so we can kind of like make it easier to track and make it easier to kind of communicate. I've got the login on the website now. So yeah, it doesn't really do anything yet, but I can like change people's roles. The first thing I need to do is the GM setup, so we can like make copies and GMs can spin up games without me having to do stuff. And another thing is when we do it through the website, I will be so the way Foundry stores like passwords for game masters and players is not secure. So I use Discord auth to log you in. So like the only thing if like the server got broken into would be lost would be like your email. But for the passwords for Foundry, I'm actually not going to let people set their own passwords. When I get there, I'm going to generate passwords for people so that people don't use real passwords that could potentially you'd have to like your password. But it'll be like words and stuff is my plan because it doesn't have to be too secure. It's just to make sure that you
You're
get
a
into your
computer
game.
programmer. Since we log in with our Discord, could it send the password as a DM to our Discord name? Instead of
I'll just
writing
have it
down-
listed on the site. Like,
Oh, okay. And you
it,
should,
it'll
like,
just
write
be
it
like
down.
it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be secure. I mean, it's already not secure in Foundry, so there's no reason for me to like secure it anywhere else, right? That's the whole point. And it's just for Foundry. It's not like a real password. It's just
Yeah.
to get into your game. At first, I'll probably use the same for GM and player. Like when I GM a game, like my password is when I'm playing one of my characters. Yeah, it's just gonna generate them because I don't want you sticking like a real password that you may use somewhere else, and then the server get compromised, and now that's on some password list somewhere. Because yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like I can go read it. It's nothing. But I use random passwords everywhere anyway. So yeah, Foundry's not. I mean, Foundry's like made as a desktop application. So, and the way the server works is actually kind of weird because it's kind of like using desktop application to run the server. Kind of backwards, but yeah, I guess that's it. We talked about a lot of stuff. We cleared up some stuff. Got some good ideas. Gonna bump up Beastmaster to seasoned. Gonna change advancements to 1, 2, 3, and 5. Possibly Syn reputation tracker. Maybe a way for people to contribute to weapons and crystal compendiums on Foundry. Timeline on the site. GMs need to give a heads up to the council when they run the mission if they're going to find a crystal. And we can have 2 characters per player. Does that sound like a good?
Yeah. I don't know if we have time for it now, but I think we should at some point put some thought into how to handle requisition in terms of giving it out and those rules, whether in session or outside of session, in terms of getting gear.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, so how do we want to do like outside of game stuff? So like right now, if you make a character, you get the role of proof character, and you get access to the RP chat, which is obviously empty right now. Yeah, like how do we want to handle like our out of gameplay? Because I know a lot of people do like the RP outside of the game. In the
Do we have a
communities
dice?
I've been part of.
Do we have a
We don't
dice
have a
roll?
dice bot, but I can add one. No problem.
I think you have a dice, and then maybe even maybe a new channel, like a requisition
Mhm.
channel, where people have to go in and you say, requisitioning XYZ for this character name using this skill. You do the roll, and then you have to have one of the GMs reply to it saying this is approved.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. You might, because different equipment has different availability.
Mhm.
GM might need to assign a difficulty rating to that as well. But yeah, I think that could work.
Yeah. So maybe we just have like a very standardized thing. You have to say, like, my character's name is Victor, right? So Victor would like to requisition a oh god, I don't know. Chris, he would like to requisition a shotgun, right? He would like to requisition a shotgun. Let's say there wasn't, a thing that's set up like a requisition number or a target number or penalty or bonus
Mhm.
assigned to it. You would just have to say Victor would like to requisition a shotgun. And then is there a way to? I wouldn't want to have them have to ping a DM for it, but like maybe just like they have to put it in, and then a DM has to acknowledge it, and then they can roll.
Some kind of ticketing system or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what tools we can put in place, but really, I think just
So
having
there is a
separate
ticket
channel for it.
system on the yet another Discord bot. I actually use that for my. I run a tool for Albion Online. That's my server's got like 2,000 people in it. But yeah, people have to make tickets there to get, because I have to like manually assign them servers because I fucked up and started using subdomains, so I have to do the subdomain like manually, and it's a pain in my butt. So I make people open tickets because I was losing track of like everybody DMing me. But yeah, it's like ticket open, and then whatever you're opening, and then what it will do is create a channel. Based on that, I can actually send you all a screenshot of that. I'll send you a couple of screenshots. But yeah, we can do something like that. As far as that goes, I do like the ticket system though. I like that idea.
Okay, sounds like we can work that out.
Yep.
The
So I uploaded.
other part,
So I uploaded that. What it'll be is like a requisition area, and then you can see the like 339. That's my own channel or my own ticket. But you can see like 367, 366. Like those are people requesting servers. And then I go in, ticket close them and stuff. So yeah, I can set all that up. It's pretty easy. Sorry, I didn't cut you off.
no worries, man. Yeah, great. Not being a coder really myself. The other half of that equation, though, is giving out requisition. Do we want to prioritize it to one requisition per session or something along those lines, or just see if there's problems with DMs giving out requisition as they see fit based on the guidance in the book, or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not like I haven't played enough Crystal Heart to know how that works yet. So I don't know. Anybody else got any thoughts on it? Black Beetle seems to have read the whole thing cover to cover.
I don't know enough about it.
I'm so sorry. You cut out just a little bit for me. I heard the other side of the requisition was kind of setting standardized prices, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much requisition we're giving out for people.
Right.
I mean, I think you could probably, again, you get a nice like a group of DMs kind of talk it over, right, and set what you consider standardized. But I don't necessarily think that's necessary. Like we can roll with it being individualized by the DMs,
Mm-hmm.
right? As long as you don't see like, oh hey, we noticed that you gave everybody 30 requisition last game. What's up with that, Steve? I think one or two extra here isn't going completely
Sure.
unbalanced.
That might be something we need to add to the tracking dossier about how many requisitions
Yeah,
you've
sure.
taken, earned, and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it needs oversight. Like, I can agree completely with like some oversight, right? I'm actually jumping into my book really quick because I can't remember what's considered standard per game. I think they address sort of like you can expect
Yeah,
this much.
there's like you get a couple just for being on duty for a few months, which like doesn't really apply to us. And I think it's
Your
whenever you find crystal, you get some
yeah.
Based on the rank of the crystal.
Your
Fulfilling.
requisition can never go higher than 10. Full stop.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
It's not a
it
big
can
deal.
never go higher than 10. It can go into negatives. So yeah, again, I don't think we have to worry about anyone getting crazy with it. Like no one's ever going to like give someone so much that they are like, aha, now I can buy the world or whatever.
Yeah, you may be limiting it to like something down the road, maybe to consider down the road. But I don't know what would be a good limit yet, to be honest.
Yeah. We're a small enough group. I figure we can police them amongst ourselves. I think my plan as a GM would probably be to, also kind of talk it over as if the same way I would if I was introducing a new crystal in a session. Just, I think this is worth this much requisition if they are successful.
Yeah, the one thing you got to be careful there is, GMs can also be players, so you don't want to give out too much information about the mission.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, good news. They actually have a really simple guidelines for how much you should give out permission.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's super easy. So I think you mentioned like you get X amount for completing a mission or for being out for X amount of months. You get X amount for completing a bulletin board request, and you get X amount for retrieving a crystal, and it's a sliding scale on all of those. So,
And what page is that on?
if you go to page 36, it's not like a literal sliding scale, but if you read the 3 paragraphs on gaining requisition, it tells you exactly how much you should get from each one. So it looks like probably the most that a person could get. Oh gosh, sorry, 1 second. My wife is having an issue. 1 moment.
While he's dealing with that, yeah, I mean, my personal assumption was like 1 or 2 requisition per session, unless it's like really, really a huge multi-session adventure. Plus, maybe the crystal bounties.
Yeah. Well, the multi-session adventure would need to be episodic so people can kind of come in and out. But
yeah.
And like we were talking about earlier, like having some lore in that, we could fly in agents. We could even invent a helicopter or something to drop agents into missions or whatever we want to do there. We can invent whatever we want.
Yeah, that's one area where I actually hesitated before suggesting the timeline idea, because with the asynchronous nature and the travel is not that quick around this world. Like,
I'm sure there's so fast.
if we try to get too far down that road, like it's just gonna turn into this tangled mess of spaghetti timelines.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Sorry about that, everybody. My wife was trying to take the trash out, and the bag ripped, and she's like literally 3 feet from me trying to do all that. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. What are we talking about now? Sorry.
Did we lose some? How's it going, Rando?
Good. I'm here for all the excitement I heard about.
Yeah, we're almost wrapping up. Actually, we made all the decisions.
Good. That's fine as long as you make it easy.
Yeah. What were we just talking about, though? We were talking about
the requisition.
Travel.
Requisition. I think as a GM, my kind of defaults will probably be 1 or 2 requisition, depending on the scope of the adventure, plus the crystal bounty, if there is one.
And yeah, okay, yeah, I like that. 1 to 2, and maybe 3 if it's something like extraordinary. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I think GMs just need to get approval for, like they would a crystal. But yeah, I like that. And then the last thing I was actually going to bring up was talking about the lore, and thankfully Randak showed up. Does anybody want to actually write the lore, or do we have any writers here besides Randak that would want to write some official Agents of Syn, not official Crystal Heart stuff, lore to post on the site about how we're doing? My idea is that a legendary agent or something figured out a way to shatter the crystals, then regrow them from scratch. Does anybody want to write about that? Or
I'm terrible at writing.
I can't right now, sadly. I have a lot of projects that are coming up, so.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I just want a paragraph or 2, but I can do it for sure.
Sure.
But I was just wondering if anybody wanted to do it more than needing somebody to do it. So, but if that's a no, that's fine too.
We can collaborate. I can spend some time reading what you write and adding and taking away if you want. I can help, but I don't know that I can do a whole shebang.
Yeah, I can post it in the
if you
general
want to
chat.
bounce it off, and we can add to it and suggest and all that. I can help you with that.
Cool. Yeah, I can do that. So who's going to schedule the first game?
I still need to figure out Foundry. Probably.
I was going to say,
my afternoon beat up. I'm more than happy to run some people into the fantasy ground stuff today after this if you want.
Ooh, that's super tempting.
Yes, people need to get some characters thrown in and approved.
I got
It's,
one.
I have
Yeah.
all the pre-gens already in there.
Those don't count now.
Oh, yeah, those don't count now. we got the real stuff. But I guess you could probably use pre-gens for the first few until people start getting approved characters. But it's not that hard to make a character on Savage US. But yeah, I don't know. Like Randak, how do you feel about making characters? Do you own any of the books, or like have you bought anything, or?
I have not. So I've been kind of following along a little with some of the stuff you've posted and looked at it. So I've been haven't made the time to really deep dive. So it's something I got to go, and I'll probably just go out and buy the books here. But I wanted to buy them when I had time to actually look at them. Otherwise, they provide a distraction.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you can go to Savage US and make characters there. And I posted some stuff in a channel. Like if you don't have like the premium account, how to like set it up, like to make sure that you get everything that's because basically if you don't set it up, mostly the skill screen, if you don't set that up, you're gonna gimp your character and you'll be missing like 2 points that you should have. So it's,
yeah, and my impressions so far, which is mostly from ignorance, which is where I usually come from anyway, which is my secret to life. But it looked like there was like I saw the conversation about the talk with crystals and doing this and doing that, and I'm like, this looks like there's some complication. So that was just from a user, UX UI perspective from someone new, and I don't know the game system. I'm certainly not new to gaming. I'm like, man, this takes a lot of work. So me a little more reluctant to like a lot of other things going on right now. So I don't want to dive into something that's going to be a lot of work as opposed to something I could go in and build a character, at least the functional fundamentals as opposed to backstory in 15 or 20 minutes or maybe a half hour and then be done with it. So I don't know what the real reality of that is.
It's pretty easy. So between Savage US and that little guy there, like that, I put that together, and you can kind of go through each piece as you get to them. But with Savage Worlds, you have your traits, your skill, you have your skills, your traits, your hindrances, your edges, and your gear. Did I miss anything? And then with Crystal Heart, you have your crystals. So you're creating factor into creating your character, whatever. So if you out there a character with no crystal at all and submit it for approval, we could probably do that and then help you with your character or your afterwards.
Yeah, and I think that's it. So making bite-sized steps is a little easier to just get something going, and in the spare moments of time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the thing on between the site and then the stuff I posted in that channel, you should be okay because there's some banned there's some added edges and traits, and there's some banned hindrances and edges. You should be able to like get an idea of like what you can do. You can always submit it, and we can don't be afraid to just submit something that's totally fucked up.
We also have that whole channel for character creation help. So if you just know what you want your character to do, I guess let us know, and we can maybe give you points on the mechanics.
Yeah, and I have kind of followed along there a little bit just to kind of keep an eye on people doing, just watching what other people are doing, because that's just quick to jump in. But yeah. So I usually kind of come up with a character concept and then go in there and find whatever mechanics fit that. So that's kind of my anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it sounds too, and I missed the beginning of this, so I don't want to, restart conversations that may have been had. But just the nature of it, kind of figuring out, because often when I game as a player, I try to find a party, right? Like if we don't have a healer, maybe I'll be a healer. If we don't have a battlefield controller, I'll be a battlefield controller. And this sounds like a little more mix and match. So I may just have to come up with a more generic character than I usually would as far as skill sets. So
yeah, since you joined late, I'll go back through everything about. So we decided 2 characters per player, a main and an alt. You can only use one at a time. There's a Beast Spawn edge that's in the Suede book. That's going to be kept at novice, but there's a Beast Master edge that's going to be bumped up to season, which is currently 1. Advancements are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 5. So in Suede, you have novice, seasoned, to season, veteran, and so on. Or yeah, something like that. But so and then once you make it to heroic, once you get 1 point into heroic, you can retire and your character can like be an NPC in the world. But if you want to retire your character, you can just stop playing it at any time and create a new one as long as it replaces ones. It just won't be part of the world. I'm gonna do some stuff on the site for tracking and all that stuff. Maybe some Syn reputation points. We're gonna create a way to requisition stuff because the way money works in this setting is kind of weird. We're gonna create that in Discord and GMs. Most games will not result in a crystal. So if a GM is going to run a game that's going to find a crystal, they're going to give a heads up to like the other GMs in the council, and yeah,
Still
that's pretty
learning
much
just
it.
to kind of get a handle on things. But I'm definitely interested in doing maybe some playing and GMing. And I think I'd mentioned to you, Hypnocode, that you know I've also sure I'd be happy to kind of teach some GMing stuff too, because that's it's always nice to have people get into that side of the game if they're interested.
Yeah, I'm a pretty new like pointer.